When it comes to choosing a broker in Japan, so a company that you can buy investments through, you've got a lot of options. So you could go through your existing bank, go through a different bank, you can use startup companies like PayPay or Line and so on. But the best option for most people is to go through one of the big online brokers. And there's a few reasons for that. So the big online brokers tend to have the lowest costs. They tend to have the widest range of products, and perhaps most importantly, they're not going to call you up and try and sell you things, which is what your bank might do if they notice that you've got a lot of money lying around. Now, the big online brokers in Japan are companies like Rakuten Securities or SBI Securities, Monex Securities, and Matsui Securities. We've done some videos in the past going through the menus and what the websites look like for Rakuten and SBI, but we hadn't done Monex. And the other day, someone asked me to make a Monex video, so here you go. All right, so I just want to do a really quick run through of what the Monex Securities website looks like and what kind of functionality you can find in here, and a few ways to just navigate the website a little bit. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. I'm just going to show you the various sections and explain what they are, which ones you might want to use, and that kind of thing. So I hope you find it useful. Let's just jump in. So I'm going to log in first using my funky book, and there we go. So this is the first page you're going to see, and personally I think it's not quite as clean or clear as Rakuten is, but here we go. So this is the top screen. This is the My page. You can customize it, I think. I haven't actually customized it myself, but I think you can actually change what appears on here. For me, always the most useful thing was this part. So this is kind of the main menu. And this page here, so this is the, I guess, the investments that you own, and you can manage them from here. And this is the kind of the center piece of the site. So right now we can see I have some cash. So I have 50,000 yen, just over 50,000 yen in cash in this account, and I don't have any investments. I used to have some investments in here, but I actually sold them and moved the money to Rakuten. And the reason I wanted to do that, just a quick aside here, is that your taxable account will calculate all your taxes for you. So anything you sell and make a profit, sell and make a loss, they'll balance that out and they'll only tax you on the difference. However, if you have taxable accounts with different brokers, they don't coordinate with each other. So in that situation, you would have to do a tax return and do all the calculations yourself. I didn't want to do that, so I put all my taxable investments across to Rakuten. But in the future, I'm considering starting my new NISA account with Monex, because that would be separate from the taxable account. It wouldn't really be a problem, basically. So, and it would give me diversification. So that's the plan for the future. But that's why there's no actual investments in here. So going down the screen super quick. So we got this. This is the investments owned page. Here we have stocks. So this would be Japanese stocks and foreign stocks would be listed here if you had any. This is mutual funds, Toshi Shintaku, and this is the mutual fund section. So any mutual funds you own will be listed here. And then going down, we can see different subsections. The MMF is a money market fund. These would be cash funds, especially in other currencies. We've got a bond section. This would be buying bonds directly. Now, normally we'd buy bonds by buying a mutual fund or an ETF. But if you buy the bonds directly, normally Japanese bonds, they would show up in this section here. Oh, and actually there's foreign bonds too. So I guess that you can buy maybe US treasuries and so on directly, and they would show up in this section here. However, I think for most people, they're going to mainly have stocks and hopefully mutual funds. So of course in Japan, mutual funds are a really tax efficient way to invest. Other than this main page, which is the most useful in my opinion, let's look at the other sections of the site just super quick. This little guy logo, Monex Shogen at the top, this will always bring you back to the top of the site. So it's going back to the home kind of thing. Here you can do a quick search. This thing is a list of orders. So you can see your orders, open orders, fulfilled orders, past orders, I'm guessing. I'm not sure what that is. This is just a search box for the site. You can search for stocks and so on through there. That'll log you out. This will get you the help bit. That's a sitemap. You got my page, which was that initial page we got into. And then this is that useful menu here. So we've got the investments page at the top. And then we've got, going down here, we've got various sub pages there, from Monex points to kind of graphs showing your investments, record. This is the rekishi, so this is the records of any transactions you've done on the site. These are any documents that you might have. So say fund prospectuses and any kind of contracts you had with Monex might be listed in here. And then over here is where we can change our settings. So this is customer information here at the top. Your registered mail address. This will be the status of your account. So whether you've opened various bits of the account like foreign exchange or iDeCo and so on. This would be dividends. How you want to receive dividends. Now, this is a really important setting if you receive dividends. So generally speaking, you can receive dividends into your broker account or your bank account, or I think you can get them sent to you as a kind of check, but basically just choose broker account. That's the easiest option. It's probably the default, but that's basically makes it easy to do everything else. This is the same thing, but for bond interest. So you receive interest paid on your bonds, and this is how you choose to receive it. This is where you can see how much you're paying in fees. And then this is the NISA rollover settings, which are no longer relevant because there are no more NISA rollovers. Once the new NISA account comes in, we're not going to have rollovers anymore. So the final rollover was actually last year, rolling into 2023. Other than that, we've got this menu, which is also super important. This is where you can move money in and out of your account. And also you can change yen into foreign currencies. If you're buying US stocks and you want to do that in dollars, you can do that here. This is where you can search for things. So you can use this screening tool. You can use rankings to look for stocks and so on. This is a list of seminars put on by Monex, some information there. And then various products and services that they offer. Especially important are NISA and iDeCo. So as long as you're not American, and if you're American, you probably don't want to be using a Japanese broker anyway. But as long as you're not American, you should definitely be using NISA. If you're going to invest, you might as well invest and not pay taxes legally. And probably iDeCo. So if you're going to be in Japan for the long term, iDeCo is usually a good idea for most people. What else is useful in here? This is gold and platinum. I don't recommend precious metals, but if you choose to buy them, this is where you do that. This is crypto. So you can actually buy Bitcoin and Ethereum at least through Monex. If you're interested in doing that, you can do it here. Again, I'm not a cryptocurrency fan, but I've been wrong about cryptocurrency for a long time. So don't necessarily listen to me about stuff. FX is trading currency. Again, I wouldn't do this. It's quite unlikely that you'll make money doing this. You're far better off doing passive investment into the stock market. But if you want to, that's where you do it. And then going through here, we've got bonds, mutual funds, Toshin, foreign stocks. So these are American stocks and Chinese stocks they have available. This is Shinyo Torihiki. So Shinyo is margin, right? You're borrowing money from the broker to buy stuff. This is very dangerous. Don't do it if you don't understand it. If you don't know what it is already and you don't know how to do it, then I wouldn't bother, seriously. Most people should just be doing normal kind of monthly dollar cost averaging into passive mutual funds. That's the best thing for the normal person to do. And this is stocks over here. So these are Japanese stocks as opposed to American stocks and Chinese stocks. Now, the only other thing that I think might be worth looking at is how to buy foreign stocks if you wanted to do that. So here we got access to the US market, we got access to the Chinese market here. And over here you can change money. So you can change yen into dollars and vice versa. I've never actually traded Chinese stocks. I'm not completely familiar with this, but it seems you can buy them in NISA, which is incredible. And you might have to jump to a different website to do so. With the US stocks, you can also buy them in an ordinary NISA account, in a regular NISA account, not in Tsumitate NISA. Tsumitate NISA only has mutual funds. But you could buy US stocks in here, unless you're American, in which case you're not allowed to buy US stocks through Japanese brokers, mainly because of US tax laws. And this is a simplified version of that. Let's have a quick look at what this looks like. So one interesting thing about Monex, which is different from other brokers, is that they use this TradeStation platform, which I think is a US platform. So it's actually got a lot of functionality that the other brokers don't have in their trading. This looks a lot more like Interactive Brokers kind of interface rather than, say, the Rakuten Securities interface. So it's quite complicated. The nice thing, because it's a US platform, there's probably quite a lot of information about how to use it online. You can find user guides and so on. So this is where you would search for stocks, symbols, get information, and buy and sell stocks. Again, this is probably not what most people should be doing. Most people should be just buying a diversified, low-cost, passive mutual fund. But if you wanted to buy stocks, this is where you would do it. And I think that's basically all we need to go through today. So log in. This is the first page you can see. You'll probably be able to customize it if you want to, but I always just went to my holdings. So I'd check out my holdings. I could see what I had, and I could do everything that was necessary. From here, once I move money into the account, then I can buy and sell stuff and so on. So I hope you found that useful. If you've got any questions, please pop them in the comments, because your questions, I'll try to answer the questions, of course, but if I get questions that I haven't covered in a video, there's a good chance that I'll end up making a video about it as well. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.